Art can be a form of escapism. It can tear you from this world and step you into something so cathartic it's often hard to vocalize. Hope you guys are ready for something seriously rad. There's something subtle happening in the art world. Something so quiet, you just might miss it. It's kind of hard to see as art sometimes. It's a subgenre of new media art called interactive art. New media art has been around since the 19th century with things such as the zoetrope. Though recently it's taken the form of art plus programming, with pioneers such as Golan Levin and people making amazing tools like Casey Reyes, Benjamin Fry, and Zach Lieberman. A few Japanese artists have been at the forefront of this movement. Like all forms of new art, they're easily attacked with claims that they aren't really art. Yeah, that usually goes well. Do you remember the last conversation that made your heart race? I think this is the beauty in new media art. It's finally a true conversation. The observer can actually affect change in the art. There's something that changes in us when we see something beautiful. Light shines from our core. It allows us to see something that can't truly be touched. It lives in layers above the physical. But the thing about art is that everybody sees it differently. It's a subjective experience based on an objective reality. What one person sees as beautiful, another sees as just weird. The beauty of Japanese artists, I think, is the unique approach to art. There's a sentiment that most of them share, and it's expressed perfectly in shibui and wabi-sabi. Shibui means simple, subtle, or unobtrusive. Things are more beautiful when they speak for themselves, when they aren't loud and in your face. Wabi-sabi is the appreciation of the imperfect and impermanent, the rustic and melancholy. This is the beautiful simplicity of Japanese art that seems to be threaded throughout, and it stands out in firm opposition to the Western ideas of commercialization and complexity. A lot of Japanese art seems to be tinged with this beautiful simplicity. Considering this medium, this is actually quite difficult to do. Simplicity is the final achievement. Any artist will tell you that complexity is easy, but simplicity, well, that's...
I live in office for 3 years, and I woke up and I was sleeping at office, so it's like almost 24 hours. Working. Sometimes I stay for 2 weeks at office.
Long hours.
Long hours office, and without going back to house.
I first saw Daito's work when I attended I.O. back in 2013, and it completely blew my mind. I knew I was witnessing something magical happening, was completely enchanted. He, like most in his field, is a polyglot. He VJs, DJs, programs, and writes music. Daito says one of his goals is opening up new potentials for mundane technologies. Realistically, things like stimulating the body with electricity has been around since the 1850s. But what Daito, like a lot of great artists do, is create new worlds from something seemingly uninteresting. He unceremoniously shares a lot of what he's working on, even if it's just a test. He posts videos of things that are in progress and that seem very rough. But in the zeitgeist of the open source community, open, free, constantly changing, it fits in perfectly. When suspension of disbelief occurs after you enter a space that's been well crafted, you know you're in for something special. You feel like a foreigner on an alien planet, and instantly you are unaware of where you are and are lost in a space far from the one in front of you. This project has to be one of the coolest things that I've seen in a while. It fuses traditional Japanese space with interactive art. TeamLAB created an installation at the Light Festival in Tadasu no Mori. When you enter Shimogamo Shrine in Kyoto, there's a road where you're met with what they call resonating spheres, which are these otherworldly glowing lanterns. The sando symbolizes one's life efforts in Japanese culture. When you encounter a tree or touch the spheres, a spatial conversation happens. The color changes or a tone is emitted. They say that their aim is to achieve a balance between art, science, technology, and creativity. I think this is a great example of all four. One of my favorite mediums for art is light. All the ways that it can be used to bend, refract, split, make it one of the most surprising paintbrushes. So you can see why I get so excited when I see artists using light so interestingly. In this performance, which was a collaboration with Enra, there are so many fleeting moments of light and choreography. It's akin to listening to a counterpoint melody when the polyphony of sound reaches a goal. You can literally see it happening around 1 minute and 41 seconds, when a visual deceptive cadence happens. It seems like the piece is almost finished, but not yet resolved. And then the flow continues again in a motif of tension and resolution until it hits the end at 4 minutes and 26 seconds in finale. Look familiar? This, to me, is art in its finest form. Like in a song, each part can live on its own and is intrinsically beautiful. When Yusaku describes what he does, he says he sees juggling as an expression of himself that merges art, sports, and performance arts. So I encourage you guys to check out these artists. I'll post all the links in the description down here, and let me know what you think of them. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Are there other artists that I missed maybe? Let me know in the comments. And like always, like and subscribe.